For the first time in 200 years, a menorah will be displayed in a prominent area at the University of Alabama. Joining us now is Bridget Lappert with Becket Law, formerly the Becket Fund for Religious Liberty. So Bridget, you recently worked on a case in Alabama involving a menorah on a college campus. Tell us about that case.
Sure. Well, for your viewers that don't know, Becket Law is a nonprofit public interest law firm, and we defend religious liberty for people of all faiths. We like to say from A to Z, from Anglicans to Zoroastrians, and including members of the Jewish community. And over the past couple months, we had the opportunity to work with a Jewish student group at the University of Alabama, Roll Tide. We had the opportunity to work with them and to ensure that for the first time in 200 years, a menorah is going to be placed in a prominent location on the campus, and they're actually going to be having a menorah lighting ceremony on the 29th of December. And what a beautiful example of how religious liberty and diversity can be not only embraced on a college campus, but all over this country.
Why is it so important that different symbols from different religions are there side by side?
We like to say that if one person's religious liberty can be threatened, all of our religious liberty can be threatened. If one group can be silenced, we all can be silenced. And thinking of the University of Alabama, every year they have a Christmas tree in the center of campus to celebrate Christmas. And this student group said, look, let's celebrate the rich faith traditions that we have here on campus. And as a complement to the Christmas tree, let's have this menorah. And, it's a great example of showing that religious liberty and diversity can be celebrated throughout the year, but also at the most wonderful time of year.
Well, this sort of transitions next to my next question, because how can people of faith of different religions kind of work together to support each other's religious liberty?
Yeah, well, I think it's safe to say that 2016 was a year of a lot of change, and it might be easy to become complacent and sit back and think that religious liberty will be fine, nothing to worry about. But now more than ever, we have to double down and defend our first freedom. And at Becket, looking at a case, we represent the Little Sisters of the Poor, and regulations targeting their religious liberty, there are regulations like that on the books all over this country. And again, now more than ever, it's time to double down, defend our first freedom. And if your viewers are looking for information where they can find religious liberty cases, I would direct them to becketfund.org or look for Becket Law on Facebook if they're looking for current religious liberty cases.
It's interesting, Bridget, because your family in particular has a history of religious diversity. Your grandfather was Jewish from the Czech Republic, fled during World War II. How has that impacted your views on religious liberty?
Sure. Well, as you mentioned, they're from the Czech Republic and fled because they were Jewish, and by way of Venezuela were able to come to the United States, where we have religious freedom, and they were able to live out their faith freely. And that freedom actually led my father to become Catholic. He's now a Catholic deacon in the Diocese of Birmingham. So just seeing the opportunity that they had to come here where we have freedom really inspired me that religious freedom is for all of us, and we should all have the opportunity to live out our faith in the public square.
One last question. Your mother was a nurse and administered to Mother Angelica while she was dying. How did that sort of impact Mother Angelica had on her?
Well, yeah, my mom is a nurse, and she had the opportunity to be one of the nurses with Mother in the final weeks that she was with us. And when I talked to my mom about that experience, she wells up with tears because it was such a moving experience for her and a huge blessing in her life that I know she really, really took to heart.
Pretty incredible, pretty incredible. Well, it's always nice to talk with folks from Becket Law. Bridget Lappert, Becket Law, thanks so much for talking with us.
Thanks for having me.